welcome. Thank you so much. Everybody's coming in. Come on in, get situated. Today I am relaxed because we got some work to do. Okay, we got some work to do today. We got some work to do. We got some work to do. I need y'all to be in healthy, happy relationships. I need you to be in a space where you are aligned with your purpose and your assignment. Okay, so today we are having a real talk. Love Talk Live is good. We are about to go all the way in tonight. So you know how we do. Go grab a friend, share this out. Hey, underneath, good to see you. Thank you so much, Babs Philly, for coming in. Thank you, CBs. Thank you so much for everybody in YouTube and Facebook land. So glad to have you all with it today. Come on. Look, so tonight we are talking strategically and specifically about the 4 relationship styles that are ruining your love life. That's right. The 4 relationship styles that are ruining your relationships and your love life. So I need you to pull up your pen, pull out your notepad, and get ready because today I've gone in and have pulled out all the stops to make sure that you had exactly what you needed. You know, it's interesting. A lot of people think that based on what I do, that I'm not clinical. How you doing, Justin? Good to see you. That I don't have a clinical experience, but as a former pastor, I've had to counsel people in mental health, had to deal with relationship issues, had to deal with familial issues, had to deal with all kinds of things. So I have the experience of handling real life things every day. And this is straight from this topic today is straight from my experience, but it also is backed by science. So I want to make sure that you are very clear that everything I'm going to say today is based on science. It's also based on personal experience, though. And so it's really important that I share that because I have a client named Tom who was asking why he couldn't find good people. And when he said he wanted love, but he was always pushing people away. Has anybody pushed somebody away when they said they wanted love before? Come on, be honest. Have you ever pushed somebody away when you know you wanted love? You said you wanted love out of your mouth, but you pushed them away with your actions, with your energy. Everything about how you were reacting said that you wanted to push them away. So there was Tom coming to me for love advice and simultaneously pushing people away. All right. Scorpion brother says, I have. Look, if you're being honest, I know I have. Let me just be honest. I have. And I understand this thing that a lot of us think that we are under equipped, think that we are not prepared, think that need more from the people who are in our lives and who are interested in us. And let me just say this to you, for those of you who are watching tonight, so my family, I want you to get ready because tonight I'm coming straight for your guts today. I am coming for your throat today. We are going in today, and the things that you have been doing to self-sabotage, to sabotage your relationships, I'm calling you out because I want you to have the best and healthiest opportunity to find love in your life. All right? That's what we're doing tonight. So go ahead, get ready, like, comment, and share all of this with your friends and family, those who have been complaining over and over and over and over that they can't find love. Tonight, you tell them you have to stop complaining because this brother is on right now and he is about to tell you what you've been doing. And it may not be you, but it could be one of your family members. It could be a friend that has been complaining so often that love is not available to them. And tonight I'm about to break that misconception and make it real to you tonight. So get ready. So let me just share with you that I have done that. Okay. I have been the person who literally has self-sabotaged a relationship. I have been the person who said I wanted a relationship, said I wanted to be in a relationship, said I wanted love, and at the same time was emotionally distant, was not communicative, was not present. I was the same person at the same time. So it is very possible, to be in that vein and yet still understand that you need something from your life. All right. You want more. You want better. Let me put that up for those of you on Facebook. You want more. You want better, but you understand that it's difficult for you because there are some things that you may not realize are happening behind the scenes emotionally that are disconnecting you from the reality of that. Scorpion Brother says, the ones that like me, I don't like, but I love the ones that don't like me. There's one of those styles, and we'll jump into that. I think many of us have been through this. All right, so what is attachment style? Let me just say this. It is the way we approach or avoid intimate relationships. Understanding and transcending your own attachment style and being mindful of that, of the people you are dating, are two crucial keys to creating a lasting, loving relationship. So number one is knowing your own attachment style. I'm going to go through the four of them and give you the one that you really need. But I'm going to go through the four that you are struggling with today. So the first part is knowing your attachment style, but also knowing the person's attachment style that you're interested in. Both are absolutely necessary in order to have the best and healthiest relationships in your life. So let's talk about what an attachment is a little deeper. It's a bond that we form with our primary caregiver, usually a parent, and it's a universal human phenomenon. All right? It's a human phenomenon that starts as early as the womb. And the way we develop it eventually affects the way we find, keep, and end relationships. I'm going to get all up in your business today. Thank you for coming in. Everybody who's coming in, I'm getting in your business today because these four relationship styles are ruining your chances, but they've been things that you've dealt with since you were a child. Yes, we're about to have a real love coaching session right here, right now on Love Talk Live. Just get ready. I need you to sit back and deal with what's about to happen right now, because there are some things that you've gone through from childhood that have impacted how you deal with the people that you encounter that you say you want to love. Just let that sit. Blink, blink. There are people that like you and that you may like, but your attachment styles are incompatible. Now, I know that you've heard about the 5 love languages. I know you have. I know you've heard about them. But your 5 love languages don't mean much if your attachment styles don't align. I'm going to say that again. The 5 love languages don't mean much if your attachment styles don't align, or if you cannot adjust to the attachment style of your partner. So that's why this is so imperative and so important. You may have never heard this before, but today I'm dropping this on you. This is stuff that I share with my clients. This is stuff that I give to people and they pay money for. I'm giving this today for free because somebody needs to know that there are 4 relationship styles that are impacting your business. So your business in relationships with people. Now, I want you to do a few things for me tonight. For those of you who have been on here before, for a little housekeeping, this is what we do. First of all, if this is your first time, I'm a love and success coach. I help people on an everyday basis. This is what I do. I help people to find successful love. I help ordinary people, Normally, people who have failed many, 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 many times before. This is what I do. This is what I do. You do your job. This is what I do. I help people find love. So I need you to tune in and tap in. Listen, I'm not your mama. I'm not your daddy. I'm not some random celebrity that just randomly talks about love. This is what I do on a professional level. I studied this. I trained for this. I've been through this. I prepared for this. I pastored people for this. So I'm not coming to you as some novice. I just need to make that clear for people tuning in for the first time. This is not some random person talking about love and you just need to like them because they're popular. That's not what this is today. Secondly, if you're on and you hear something, I want you to just put a heart in. I want you to put a heart, just type a heart, and let me know that it connected. That lets me know it resonates. All right. So thank you, E. Brown, for your heart right now. Thank you for all my people in YouTube. C Sharp dropping hearts over there on YouTube, dropping hearts. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank y'all for tuning in. And look, I want you to drop some questions on me because the whole point of this is to be able to help you in a real way at the end. So right around 9:40, I'll be taking questions and I want to make sure that you get your questions answered today. That's why I'm here. Oh, and by the way, at the end of this, I'm about to tell you my Black Friday special. My Black Friday special for those of you who have not been a part of this. You know I like giving stuff away. So tonight I'm dropping my Black Friday special on you so that you have access to the tools you need to have the love you want. All right, but you got to stay to the end to get the deets on that. So let's go. Let's start. Why is your relationship failing? And why are your relationships failing? Plural and singular. You may be in a relationship. Why is it failing? Or you may be trying to get a relationship. Why is it failing? Let's talk right now. Number one, somebody write this real quick. Somebody write number one. For those of you who are in for the first time, this is what we do. You write what it is that I'm saying so that you can write it out for yourself, but also for your ability to be able to pass it on to someone else. I just believe that when you do that and someone sees it, it gives you a blessing for being able to pass on the love. So number one, on why your relationships are failing. Number one, the first relationship style that is ruining your relationships is the anxious, preoccupied attachment. I know that's long. The anxious, preoccupied attachment. If you're taking notes, write that down. The anxious, preoccupied attachment. That's number one. It says, I must have intimacy with you! Exclamation point. I gotta have intimacy with you. Now, most of these people, if you have this is what I'm gonna tell you. If you are a part of the anxious, preoccupied attachment, then as a child, you dealt with the fact that you were nurtured intermittently by your parent. Your parent intermittently nurtured and abandoned you. Often, this is a parent that was loving yet was busy. This is a parent that often had to pass you off. This is a parent that also often loved you hard, but also had to not spend as much time with you. I understand in our community, a lot of people deal with the anxious, preoccupied attachment because their parents had to work so much. What does this deal with? That means that you tend to want and need closeness. And when you're triggered, you run after or move toward your partner. Yes. When it taps in, when that anxious, preoccupied attachment triggers, you end up needing to grab on or gravitate towards your partner. Woo! Both literally and figuratively. You end up wanting to be up under them. You're the type of person that needs to be loved all the time. You need affirmation all the time. You need reassurance all the time. You need attention all the time. You fear rejection. You fear abandonment. And you tend to analyze every little thing that your partner says and does. You look for sometimes the worst things to try to protect yourself from the things that come in. I'm talking good. I hope somebody sees that I'm talking good right now, because I'm really trying to help you here right now. Are you here with me? Are you here with me? Are you here with me? Come on, talk to me a little bit today. We gotta have some conversation, because this type is the type that fears the rejection and abandonment. Have you been that person? Have you been the person that is needy? This would be the needy person, the person that needs all of the time, that needs all of the attention, that needs all of the effort, that needs all of that person's affection. You're the person that needs someone to complete you. I know I'm talking heavy, and I know it's not easy to hear this, but I'm talking good for a reason, because you said you want love, and tonight I'm bringing it. So let's go. You are the person, my anxious, preoccupied people who like success, who need to be doing things, but also need their partner to be doing things for them. You don't mind being busy, but you don't want your partner to be busy. Ringing any bells for anybody? Although you're seeking security by clinging to your relationships, your type, the anxious, preoccupied type, often pushes partners away. Yes, you do. And why? It's because you think they're not giving you enough time and care and concern. So you push them away because you feel like they're not giving you enough. You are whining often because you're saying that you're lacking appreciation and attention. So you demand more time, you demand more closeness, you demand more intimacy. And in that, you end up pushing people away. That's number one. Number one, number one, number one. Somebody write that in. Anxious, preoccupied. Number one, anxious, preoccupied. Number two, number two. This is getting, I'm feeling this already. I already see where I am with some of this, y'all. So look, let's go. Number two is the dismissive, avoidant attachment. And this is the ones of you who are out there. Number two is the one that says, I don't need you. I don't need you. I can do bad all by myself. This is the one that sings a Mary J. Blige song or a Jasmine Sullivan song and says, I don't need you. I bust the windows out your car. You know, I don't need you. This is the one that says that you're not necessary to me. Traditionally, start with this, parenting, either you were parented by someone who was consistent or consistent or prolonged, you had consistent or prolonged abandonment or smothering. Yeah. Either you were ultimately really smothered by a parent or you were completely neglected. That's where that comes from. So think back a little bit. Think back, think back. We're in a client coaching session. We're in a coaching session right now. Either you dealt with that they were abandoning you or they were smothering you. And this is where it leads to. You tend to avoid closeness and intimacy. And when triggered, you run away from your partner and you end up as a dismissive, you end up being distant and non-committal. You act like you don't need any affection or intimacy. You could be a nun, right? Like you don't need, I can do this thing on my own. The Scorpion brother is an only child. I get it. As an only child, I understand that love and the need for love. And see, you are super self-sufficient when you're dismissive. You're super self-sufficient. You have a tendency to emotionally distance when you realize that someone's trying to get close and you don't know how to handle it emotionally. Who's there right now? Who has pulled back when somebody tried to pull close because you weren't sure of their intention. You didn't want to be hurt, and so you pulled back. That's a dismissive type. And often you focus on yourselves and your own needs instead of the person who is beside you. I'm just here talking. Y'all, I'm just here talking. Some of y'all know this is hitting right here. For those of you who are dismissive types, number two, the second type, for those of you who are dismissives, you are in situations right now where you probably have someone that wants to love on you and you're pushing them away. Yes. You end up being very focused on your own goals, on your own energy, on your own growth, on your own development, on your own issues, on your own life, on your own problems, on your own things you're dealing with. Hey, 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 what's up, my mentee Norris? Good to see you, brother. You are the one that gets focused and interested on your own physical comforts. In fact, you probably are the type that likes physical things, buying things, taking trips, doing things for yourself. You like doing that even more because that dismissive nature says, I'll do it for myself before anybody can do it for me. Woo. I am talking up in here, up in here. So we, number one, talked about the anxious, preoccupied attachment. Then we talked about the dismissive, avoidant attachment, where you say, I don't need you. But now let's talk about number three, the third reason why your relationships are failing. The anxious, preoccupied, dismissive, avoidant combo. That's a tongue twister, but anxious and preoccupied. So you're not just nervous that someone will abandon you. You're not just dismissive and pushing people away, but you're also completely avoidant. Now, you are the type of person, that will date often. You often, though, even in your often dates, feel neglected and abandoned because you feel like your partner is distant and not sharing enough of themselves. No one can ever share enough of themselves for you. It's never enough. It's never enough. The way they want to love you is never good enough. There is always a reason why they are not good enough. There's always a reason when you are avoidant and dismissive and in this space where you are preoccupied. You don't know how to handle when someone has something else going on in their lives. You often are seeking so much attention that you start saying the things like this. There are no good people out there. Who said that? The people out there are no good. The people out there are only focused on themselves. The people out there don't really love people. The people out there are only playing games. These are the things you say because really what you're wanting is to be clinging on somebody, is to be badgering somebody, is to be analyzing somebody, is to be assessing somebody. You don't want a relationship. You want to be a person that does assessments on everybody in their life. You would rather have control over what a person does and says and who they are with and where they go and all of that. You're anxious and preoccupied at the same time, but you're also dismissive and avoidant. That's a dangerous combination. But there is one that's last here, and that's number 4. And that is the fearful avoidant or fearful attachment. And this is the person who basically comes from a parental home where there was abuse or violence and or an out of control or chaotic life. Maybe there were drugs and alcohol at the home. Maybe there was no physical abuse, but there was verbal abuse growing up. And if you dealt with these kinds of things, if you were subjected to these types of things in your life, if you have gone through things in your upbringing that caused you trauma, many of you, if you were dealt with trauma in your upbringing, will see this type of fearful, avoidant attachment in your life. Now, I know many of you, because I have the clients I have, are dealing with stuff from childhood, and you have family issues. Traumatic childhood experiences can lead to a sense where there is danger in being attached. Hey, Honey Red, good to see you, love. There is a danger of being attached. So think of this. Let me tell you how crazy this is, but this is what happens on a regular basis. Someone says, I want love. I want to be loved. I want love. I want to be loved. I want love. And they sit in fear of being loved and getting the love, of being loved and getting the love. They are afraid because the thing that they said loved them before, parent, and then later on in life, maybe even a partner that was abusive or in some way cheated on them or hurt them in a deep way, they end up fearful of love. So I want love, but I'm fearful of love. So think of that on a job. I want a job, but I'm fearful of the job. I, I want money, but I'm fearful of money. I want to go to the amusement park, but I'm afraid of roller coasters. So one of these is going to hit you. I want to be hydrated, but I'm afraid of water. Okay? So there are things that you are asking for, love, but you are afraid to get them. So that is the fearful attachment that tends to live in an ambivalent state. And when I say that, I mean they find it hard to tolerate being close. They cannot stand being distant from their partners. They need to know what they're doing at every waking moment. They end up being unpredictable and full of drama because they have so many highs and lows. They end up being the type that needs to analyze and pursue and cling to their partners in deep and annoying often ways. Some of y'all are really annoying. Can I see? Now I know I'm in a client session because I'll say that straight to a client. You're being annoying. Like, think about the type of love that someone needs, the type of love you may really need, the type of love you want. You don't want a boss over your back. You don't want a teacher over your back. You definitely don't want a partner over your back. And many of you are annoying. Many of you annoy your partners. Many of you annoy the energy out of your partners. And you do this because you're fearful of being abandoned, being rejected, being alone. That's deep, right? That's deep. Let me give you my solution today. For all of those of you who have stayed on and have gotten this, let me give you my solution today. The real type that you need to be is the secured attachment type. That's the relationship style you need, secure. You all know that show, Secure, right? You need to be secure. Out of all the four we listed, number one being the anxious preoccupied, number two being the dismissive avoidant, number three being the anxious preoccupied and dismissive avoidant combo, the last one being the fearful avoidant type. The last one is to be secure. This is where we all want to be. We all want to be secure. We all want to be secure. We all want to be secure. And what I mean by secure is this, where you say you are available You are constantly reliable. You're caring and encouraging. You love to be in relationships. You offer support. You offer comfort. You offer inspiration, even in the difficult times with your partner. You support even when you want to be upset. You yourself, even when your partner is struggling with things, offer guidance and a listening ear. This is a secure partner. The partner that wasn't, oh, you got drunk tonight and I don't want to talk to you. It's the partner that says, you got drunk tonight, let me put you to bed. Then we'll talk tomorrow. See, there are moments in your life where you realize that you decide the types of relationships you will allow in your life. There are so many ways you could treat people. You probably know that because there are many ways you've been treated. But you deserve to be loved in a great and excessive way. A secure adult who is partnered with someone who is more challenging in their attachment style can often help their partner to develop the ability to have more secure and steady senses of attachment. For those of you who are part of my tribe here of love heroes, you know we do the work and we think consciously about where we are, what we want, and how we want to do it. We're willing to do the work to be better and willing to enhance who we are. Doesn't mean we're perfect. It just means we know that doing the work is necessary. There are triggers that I still have that I work through on a daily basis. And I can see when I'm doing better with them and when I'm not. And learning these attachment styles, learning how to manage them and process them, learning how to deal with them, learning your relationship style, learning your relationship triggers, learning what is important to you in a relationship is how you have a successful one. Many of us think that we just walk into a relationship and it should just work. Two good people come together, do the work, it should work. We're good people. If it doesn't work, that means we're bad people. It means that it wasn't the right time. Often, none of that is true. What it means, more often than not, is that you didn't do the work, is that you simply did not do the work. You did not investigate who you were in the relationship, who they were in the relationship. Let me close with this, and then I'll take all the questions that come up. But when dating, it is much easier to establish a healthy, secure relationship with a match who has a secure attachment style. It's also a secure match has a healthy self-reflection and is willing to evolve and work on themselves. Notice I never said none of these were right or wrong. I just said that you will fail. Right or wrong is all relative when it comes to relationships because what you need to learn and when you need to learn it is all a part of your love journey. Let me say that again. Right and wrong is all relative based on who you are and where you are in your love journey. It all depends on that, and it's about how you process it along the way. So, for those of you who feel like I need to be better, I should be better, I should be doing better, I should be handling this better, I should be managing this better, that's why you're on right now. That's why you're watching this. That's why you came across this tonight because you needed the encouragement to remind you that there is better for you. All right. Let's have an honest conversation. Who has questions? Who has questions about the types of ways they're managing relationships, what's working and what's not, and how they can do it better? I'll take a few of them and then we'll jump off because I'm still moving into this new home and we are just getting in from shopping. And I wanted to come and drop some love on y'all because I appreciate all the love you show me every single day. And thank you for following. But I want to make sure that if you have any questions based on what I shared, that I answer them for you so that you're able to get what you need out of this moment. If not, then that is fine and dandy. What I need to say before I close, if that's the case, is number one, my Black Friday sale. I am giving you all five of my books digitally. All five of my books digitally for 50% off. That means it's normally over, really more than 50%. It's normally over $50 for the digital copies. I'm giving that for 25. If you go to my website right now, there'll be a pop-up that goes on my main website, byronjamal.com, and it will give you to the link that has all of those books, all of my books. If you wanted to catch up, all of my books are available for Black Friday from today on to Black Friday leading into it. I just want you to have their work. And I'm not really concerned about the funds. I make money in plenty of other ways. I just want to make sure you get the love help that you need. From Gordon, I want to take your question, my brother. How do you identify these traits in someone you just met? That's an amazing question. Identifying these in someone you just met is going to be difficult because normally people are putting on a mask, right? In most instances, Gordon, and to everyone watching, if somebody is just meeting you, typically they're going to have some serious mask and guards up, right? There's some walls. There's some things that they're putting up before you. So, in honesty, it would be very difficult to identify them early on. But what I will say is that you can find certain triggers. And let me kind of walk through the four and give it to you the way I would think about it. So if this person was an anxious, preoccupied type, where they must have intimacy, typically they're going to be the type that's extremely clingy. All right. Early on, you think it's cute early on that they're messaging you back to back, following up, checking in with you. And eventually you start realizing this is not just because they're interested, this is who they are. This is what they do. They attach to something, they cling to it. The anxious, preoccupied type does that. So that would be for the first one. For the second one, the dismissive, avoidant type is a type that if you happen to be busy that day and they couldn't get your time and attention, they would have an attitude. You would feel negative energy from them, right? Because they're used to being abandoned and they just think naturally people are doing that. So if you avoid a text message for too long or miss a call early on in the relationship, they were going to naturally think that you did it on purpose. Yeah. So that would be a good way to catch that. For the third one, the combo between anxious, preoccupied, and dismissive avoidance is a combination of both. Here's a good way. I like text messaging because it kind of shows people's personality. If they text you and they don't reply, you don't reply fast enough, then this third type, the anxious, preoccupied, and dismissive avoidant, will ignore you and then message you a lot, angry messages, then apologize. Y'all might have done this, and then apologize that they sent it. And then you're still busy, so you haven't replied yet. And now they're messaging you, and you have about 20 messages in your inbox. And you haven't had a chance to reply to one. They've had a whole emotional breakdown, and you haven't replied to one. Has anybody dealt with that before? I know I have, Jesus. Lord, have mercy. It seems crazy. But you know what? Emotionally, that's where you are. Hello. Lastly, if you were trying to identify one in the fearful avoidant, this would be the person who naturally assumes that love is not possible. This is the person that naturally just pushes you away. And even the more you try to love them, the the more you try to give them, the more energy you try to share to them, it seems to push them further and further back. The more you try to yield to them, the more they end up resisting you. It seems like it's better that you don't have consistent communication because they get closer when you pull back. You know that type. You've experienced that type before. The type that the more you gave, the less they did, and the less you gave, the more they gave. That energy is completely found in the fearful avoidant. It's this delicate game. When you hear people talk about they playing games, normally it is this childhood trauma that um, has triggered something in them that has caused them to react in one way or another. Let me take this question. Thank you for that question, Gordon. I appreciate it. And I'm so glad that you offered that to us. My brother, Picture Perfect, asked, what's the work that should be done when you meet a great person on paper, but the compatibility, well, it be attraction, finance, sex, or personality don't match? Good question. So the question for everybody watching, even on Facebook and YouTube, if you meet an amazing person and you think great on paper, compatibility is there. Um, what if they don't match in other areas? Well, let me just say this. No one's going to match every way, every time. Repeat that again. No one's going to match every way, every time. In fact, many times you will end up doing what people don't like to hear the word of, but settling. Even on a dream job, let me put it this way. I loved reading Michelle Obama's book because she talked about she really didn't want to do the work of the White House, right? She didn't want to be a first lady in that regard and all that it required. So here's a person who has the ambition to do that. Is she settling? Now, you say, well, he's becoming president. Well, what if he wanted to be an entrepreneur? What if he wanted to be a dishwasher? What if he wanted to be a person that cleaned windows? And that was his dream. And she didn't want to do it. You would say settling then. Settling simply means that you agree to the thing that you are doing. And we do it all the time in life. You settle for where you live oftentimes. You settle for what you wear. You settle for the type of people you're around because you don't know other people. There may be people you want to hang around with, but you don't know them yet, right? I'd love to be hanging with Jay-Z right now, but you know what? I'm settling for everybody else. But it doesn't mean that the settling is bad. Here's what I want you to catch. Settling doesn't have to be bad. And the word itself sounds like it's less than, but it's always less than your dream. Guess what? You don't have the dream until you have the dream. So you're always settling. Guess what? As long as you're not breaking the autonomy of your character and the persistence of your values, as long as you are aligned with still who you are and what you believe in fundamentally to be core to your truth, then you have settled, but you have not broken your own self-love laws. I just said something. I freed somebody just now because you are really hung up on how good they look, on how much money they have, on what car they drive, on how good the sex is every day of the week, how many times you want to have sex. And sometimes live long enough and you'll realize that certain things actually don't matter as much as you want. When you look at every type, every style, relationship style that I mentioned, all four, other than the secure one at the end, the fifth one, all four of these deal with childhood issues. Many of you are basing relationships off of things that you dealt with in your childhood. And so if you stop trying to fix what happened to you as a child, you would end up loving who wants to love you as an adult. Put that on a t-shirt. If you would stop trying to fix what happened to you as a child, you would be able to be more open to the love that's flowing your way as an adult. Thank you for that question, Picture Perfect. And I'm glad you see that chasing the grass is greener. You'll be better off if you stop chasing it. I absolutely wholeheartedly agree. Scorpion Brother says, is it true that opposites attract? Opposite of what? I struggle with that. Opposite of what? Opposite of human? Opposite of the person who had trauma growing up and the person who didn't, the opposite of the person that is wealthy and the person who is not wealthy, the person opposite of the person that is very affectionate, the person is not very affectionate. Are we saying that's what it is? Because in many ways that stuff can change, and in many ways that stuff is not fundamental to that person's core. So to say that opposites attract or don't attract ends up being almost a void question. Are you talking about love languages? Here's what I know to be true about love. Here's what I know to be true about love. For those of you who really, really need this. Love is the type of thing that is more of a decision than an attraction. Let me put it this way. I'm just going to grab the first thing close to me. This envelope. If I chose to love this envelope, why? Because somebody loved it enough to make it. Somebody put effort and energy into this. Somebody designed it. Somebody folded it. Somebody licked it. If I choose to love this, that's love. Now you would say, well, you got to be attracted to it to love it. And I would say, well, it came across my path. As you saw, it was the closest thing to me to grab. So was that not attraction? But yeah, you didn't really love it before you grabbed it. You grabbed it and then decided to love it. Yeah, but it was close to me. It crossed my path. And because it was close, because it was in proximity, I chose to love it. Some of you are very close. My example is this. Some of you are very close to the person that you're supposed to be with, that you should be with, that is good for your life, that is healthy for your life. They don't look the way they're supposed to look. This envelope, I already took the mail out, so it's empty. But I'm attracted to it because it was closer than the actual package. Ooh, I just said that. The empty envelope was actually closer than the actual package. But the package can go back in the envelope. Some of you are looking for packages in many different ways and not really realizing that empty envelopes can be filled. There are people who you feel are in deficits that are actually better off for you than the people who you feel are the package. I'll leave that right there. Because I think, hopefully you got that point. It's not so much about what is and what isn't. It's a lot about what you decide to love and how. By fixing your own mentality, by fixing your own energy, by fixing your own psyche, by fixing your own approach, you can cut off a lot of these relationship traumatic situations that happen in adulthood that you had no control over in your childhood. To all of you who are dealing with childhood trauma, to all of you who are dealing with parents who were busy, too busy, they loved you, but they were busy, to those of you who didn't get enough hugs, to those of you who didn't get enough kisses and affection and affirmation and words of affirmation, to each of you who are struggling with loving the inner self of you, the inner child of you, who feels like you let people down in your childhood, who are trying to make up for the childhood that you cannot go back to each and every one of you, I speak peace. I speak peace to each and every one of you who was abused. I speak peace to each and every one of you who was molested. I speak peace to each and every one of you who felt like you didn't live your truth in your childhood, that you wrestled with identity, that you wrestled with being, that you wrestled with singleness. I speak to each of you who struggles with identity even now because you're trying to live up to the perfection of proving to parents and family that you can be what they want you to be. I speak peace to your soul and to your mind and to your heart. I speak peace. I speak peace to those of you who want more for your life and feel like you're in a rotating cycle, that you're keep getting on the Titanic and keep crashing and failing. I speak peace. I speak peace over your mind that says love is not possible. I speak peace over your heart that says love is not possible. I speak peace over your soul that wants love and you leave it starving. I speak peace. I speak peace to that voice. That voice is crying out to be loved in real and authentic ways. I speak peace. I speak peace to many of you who are struggling with sexuality, who are still trying to figure out what you love and what you want and how you want it and who you want and who they should be and what they should look like and how they should live and where they should live and what they should wear and what they should do for an occupation and who should love them and who should affirm them and who should appreciate them. I speak peace. To all of your questions, I speak peace. To all of your anxiety, I speak peace. To all of your bitter entanglements, to all of your one night stands that you have only because they're easier than really going into relationship stuff, I speak peace. To all of you who keep your legs up and your front door open to strangers, I speak peace. It's easier to just forget about these four relationship styles and just have sex. It's easier to not do the work. It's easier to just, can I say it? Yeah, I will. Fuck around. It's easier. You know what? People that are heavy into that, and I've been there, so I can speak on it. People who are heavy into that, I know already the baggage, but I speak peace. There's no judgment. I just speak peace. I speak peace over you because when you settle and you really examine what your heart needs and what your heart requires, you'll find love. And that's the goal of this. All of my love heroes out there, to all of my mentees, to all of my followers, to all of my clients who watch faithfully as well. I want to thank you for being a part of this. As you know, I do this every Tuesday, just trying to help you find some love in your life. And hopefully you realize that you deserve the peace that surpasses all understanding because it will guard your heart and your mind. As we often say, you are worth the love you seek. So seek higher love. Don't forget to go to byronjamal.com. The pop-up will happen and you'll be linked directly to my bundle, getting all of my 5 books digitally for only $25, which is more than 50% off. I'm giving that to you for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. I'll let it pass through that, but don't forget to get it. I'm leaving it up right until Cyber Monday and taking it right down because it's not what I do. But I love y'all enough to have it. Also know that if you get that deal, you'll also be given a discount on my online dating course that will help you date better and find more perfect love. That's my course called Love at First Swipe. You'll be given, it's normally over $100, but I'm only giving it away for $25 if you get that. So Just to let you know, that is available to you. I love y'all, and thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of this. Thank you for asking questions and being engaged. And thank you so much for all of you, your first time like Gordon. Thank you for being on, brother. And to all of you who are watching, just know you deserve peace. All right? Be blessed and have a beautiful Tuesday night. And if we don't talk before next time, happy Thanksgiving, y'all. Remember to find peace for those of you who can't be with friends and family. Find peace in knowing that, as I had to tell a friend who hit me up earlier, who was going through some traumatic energy towards not being able to see his mother, I had to remind him that traditions, traditions are not necessary in the sense that they have to be done. You can break a tradition as long as people are still safe and healthy. You can see them on a day that's not a holiday, and it means just as much. I want you to remember that. You can see them on a non holiday, and it means just as much. So I love y'all. All right? Be blessed and don't give up. Love is out there, it's all around. Even if it feels empty, it can be filled. All right. Peace and blessings. Y'all be good. I'll talk to you later. Take care, y'all.